Thank you, Honorable MP for Central Honier. You have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, me too like for contributing a little bit more. Very briefly, Lord, this for Constitution Amendment Constituency Assembly Bill. So I think the purpose of the bill is basically two. One, for extending date so that the Constituent Assembly can have another 2 years to work on the preparation of the processes that are required for possibly introducing to the Constituent Assembly the federal Constitution. The other is to increase the membership. I'll come to those two later, say, but let me just reflect a little bit more because I think this is the only time that I might have for me to talk a little bit along this whole thing about federalism. Say, somehow I make reference to the Township Peace Agreement. I want to go back to pre-independence here. You know, this whole quest for what system of government we should have started off pre-independence, the Legislative Assembly. I remember the member for, at that time, Rendova Wana. The constituency at that time was Rendova Wana. Member Blumivala, Francis Angarao, and moving motion. Parliament in 1975, and he asked to delay the independence. 5 other votes, no more to vote for him. He wanted to delay the independence simply because he thought that we weren't ready at that time. And the talks that were around that time was that every state Longo or regions in charge Longo. At that time, I think we were still a district. We should prepare ourselves as a state at that time. You sit down, begin me what me tell him. Yeah. You took all now like independence at that time, Malaysia and Gorkana. Mivala say, wait this time. You may come up with a system that will better prepare us before you may enter independence. So reference point below me, no long township peace here. Go back long pre-independence. And today we are still searching for that systemity. So me no like me for come up on them comments like non-negotiable. You must go ahead now. Oh, no more. You may think about all the small provinces in Holland and let's move together with them. We are still searching for that, what not, a system of government that, would be better suitable for this whole country. But we were already talking about it at that time, even to the extent that, we delayed celebrating the independence in 1978. We celebrated that independence in 1979, I'm in the Western District. July 16, I think, 1979. I think there was me, Karam Jilapotolo at the time. There were 3 people who were tribal still here this time. What our man Blomival not stand up at that time, who made the settlement in Usitupe. Istarare, Noni Judia, and myself. They made the settlement at that time to have that independence. We basically went to Bougainville and Borom now, provincial government system. We went to Papua New Guinea, borrowed it, have it introduced in 1987, and have no what you mean this time. Or somewhere in 1980. Papua New Guinea reversed from him, gone back to, I think, district, I think, you still stuck to him, Kasem today. This is a model, you me, Papua New Guinea, honestly, me must tell him level straight. Because as you know, Papua New Guinea, when they got independence, Bougainville had their provincial government first time before they had independence. So we went and basically borrowed that system, yeah? Then you me come plant him, but anyway, we are still searching today. Whether Baba and Walker, you may one year, we're all part of it. Some prime ministers we ought to go, you miss Samvala. I remember, I think we went through 3 drafts. Put him come order constitutional auditors here and over there. So kami harem go, oh, Samvala expect by Kamo, ay, which expect more. Things that you mean, they take them out of companies, you know. But them still go ahead. Say. Of course, a lot of these issues have sprung up because of, you know, some events, you know, that somehow, you know, this country has flouted with, you know, over the past 10, 20 years. So you may ended up on that motor. Those points is a reference point for you may more for go back and then revisit him now what the concepts here. Hey, time now, I think you should go back more for discussing now the federal system, or state government system. Well, possibly it might work for you, me. Any system longer, man, him model here, you cannot go and develop him more. It's around. It's around all the literatures. There is a reference on it in a worldwide finish now. I mean, globally, you Google him, no more him there now. I think the whole thing, no more that you may have to find him, try to find him, no, buy work for him, or how is it going to work for us? I think that's a question that we are all asking ourselves, and that's possibly the risk factor that you may want still are now, you know, trying to mitigate him so that, you know, if it happens, I'm not higher. If it does happen, I'm lesser. I'm more safe, yeah? And so say, but suppose you look low travel advanced countries in the world, or don't know, run the state system too. Strongest economy like Germany, for instance, you know, they're still on district, provincial. You look low, PG, still district, Papua New Guinea now, it's province, but you know, most systems are now run almost like before, no more, can't keep system anymore. But of course, you know, you have governors, we have governing now, what every official said, what running. So let's find him out what now by this system by him work for you. Let's have a look at the Constitution, and then you may try to work them out from there. But in terms of capacity, this time, lo country, all of our provinces, you mean bara no equal. We are not equal. Some bar no garem the requisite capacity to be able to run a proper state system, even provincial government too. Even provincial government, some of what don't have, you know, some of those capacity. So I think some of the points that finance and Italian are very true, you know, we now need to build on this capacity. Where do we start? That's a question that we need to put to our, not only our own self, but even what provincial government will you now. Ask him the hard question. Can you start the preparatory works? No. I know what you mean for doing. And I think you, Minister of Provincial Government, you start for work now, for improvement now, little bit review now Provincial Government Act there so that, you know, we can now start to work on devolution and then also the revenue sharing. Revenue sharing, you know, me little bit doing reading something here, law at postgraduate level. Revenue is all vertical and both horizontal and vertical revenue sharing. And have not only just our revenue quantum now, you may share in here. We have to share the powers of taxation where you derive in something based on the principles of derivatives. So where you derive in the tax here, maybe you retain in 30% or 70%, whichever where he flow go to state and the provinces or the states. I don't know how I work. It might pay for us to look at, what now happened, even Lord Champala Advanced Economist Bluyumi, Grand Commission, Commonwealth Grand Commission, for instance, fall down, could you fall down? Commonwealth Grand Commission, and then how they do it, emotion. Is it the power of taxation, what they take here, or which system of tax now, hemi shared, and which one now hemi distributed from the top down to all of them? Is it direct or indirect? Emotion. So these are the choices that you may have to make him. And I think that comes to the point about thematic issues that needs to be discussed properly. Emotion. So let's have a look at some of those things. Of course, in the end, ultimately, we all want that a system of government that by ensure and really cement him now this whole ideas and the principles of peaceful coexistence that you may are searching for. I think that's the most important thing. That will have to be the key issue here, emotion. And that peace must continue to prevail, and that we all have that responsibility to contribute to this state, this whole state of solemnity, emotion. But I feel that you may now have to start to work. Devolution must go now. Because state is not a miracle. No them come no more than some fellas in the mean already was it. So we have to start now. You may start giving power over the money, make more now. You shouldn't go mining license here. True. You may start giving power, make more now. You shouldn't go license belong logging vehicles across too much lomical sambal. Issume go power for the issue now, the license law side law investment will come inside. That's real devolution. You know, giving go no health and education, then you say, no, wait, we start. By me, hold them stop establish one. Also, we have to give that real power to them. We have to start now. Him now. If you start working him now, you know how him over there. You work on that one now. You mean developing go the power of mining, developing go power of investment, developing go power of fishery, logging, what more? Huh? Hey, huh? Water? Blow water? What? Huh? Yeah, I'm not. Ay, over there. Emotion. Give him gold water. Emotion. Gold dealers license here, GDL. Give him gold water too. Emotion. Then smoking by go behind him too. Emotion, yeah? Emotion. Keep him gold water. No, let him here. This will a special economic zone, Minister of Finance, you talk about, excellent. That's very true. Give it to them. Give it to them. That legislation, or start for legislative law there now. Let's make the enabling legislation law here, so that when they legislate law there, you will have no control more. Give him water. Give him water. Look him, time Italian Muslim, you will somehow right here. You will less give him go the power here. Emotion. Blow labor, give him gologeta. Blow immigration, give him gologeta. Emotion. I mean, me no say tomorrow, but let's work towards that. Emotion. So that when we finally decided that, the size of statehood that him must be featured inside the federalism, or the federal platform that him got him, him para right time now. No good to give him go no more. Uy, mami will no ready. Emotion. We will not ready it. Emotion. Give it to them. Emotion. Him no more small point when me like tell me because him must lunch at 12 o'clock now. Emotion. Coming to this point about the committee here. Say, country him belongs to the 80 different languages. You mean how many? 80 what? Different languages. Not below you miss a level here, the parliament law here. It belongs to that 80 different languages where you mean garden. Or not make a map, not solo marriage. Or there are not me like a mode represented in charge of the Constituent Assembly. So that the Karemna Constitution and go over and language blow over by to go back to people who have mentioned new system where you meet take them this one. You know, this one was saying, "You go take him to England, you go take him to self no more." Then you me all in. I think that one number makes sense here. And then you may say, take him come now, what other chef will come and help him. But they have to be the mainstay of this constituent assembly, or the 80 different languages here. They make up this country. Me no like him now, it will a prime minister and leader now for appointing Mogada. No more. Parliament must prescribe him now or the members here. You know Itupala. Country, you know Itupala here. Blow the 80 different cultural groups here. Yeah. Let's give it to them. That's what we didn't have prior to independence. Now what it was lacking prior to independence, yeah? The real consultations where Hemimbara really represent him now, or every cultural spreads inside the country, they weren't given that opportunity. So you may end up one time with the concepts like, you know, Solomon Islands, a nation conceived but never born. So possibly what Olman was talking about at that time was that, you know, oh yeah, I'm still there because we don't have a constitution for him born himself, you know. That constitution wasn't ours. We didn't make that constitution. In fact, that constitution is supposed to read him. I'm almost like blow same kitchen nevis no more long Caribbean. Even bellies too. So the good thing about this exercise is not for Intel for criticizing, but to make sure that we have our own constitution, homegrown. I think that's a good thing about it. But the other part of it is that the institution must work for individual. That institutions have to work for us. So my little point normal of that one, 80 different languages, let's prescribe it, this law here. This constitution gives the rights for a particular one to a particular either legal group or a cultural group. You must put him inside the constitution. Take him out now, we have to prime minister and leader. Out him. Me no like it. Country, we have to give it back to the people. They are the owners of this country. And it is them that will have to agree that you may have a new constitution that binds us together as a state. On the timing, sir, I agree. 2 years, you may give him Mogata. Finance and just tell him, no more, you may go for 100 years. I think he's right. We have been spending a lot of money on this exercise. Now it's time for Yimi for zero down now to make it happen. But before it happen, provincial government review must strengthen next year. Please, make him strengthen him non provincial government review. And Prime Minister don't review. Review Minister. Let him start with them. Make him review now. This provincial government act here. It must happen. Let's give more power to them. Power where you DPM hole melo mining and give him go to provinces. Yeah, tell him. This one where you fisheries hole men, give him go to province. This one where humo hole men, minusave. GDLA, you give him go to gold dealers license, give him go to. You know hole there. That will show and put to test the real strength of the provinces here. That's all about building up the taxable capacity. Right now, we are not putting a design of how taxable capacity Lord every province is by develop or constructed too. Some, you may not even constructing too. That one, you must do him this time. Let's do it. And then it will make it easier for us to really understand him now, the way forward for this country. So say, yeah, I agree that you may give him more a little bit time, but me worry no more, I say. You may start this year, you may trouble, go next year, bye-bye, you may challenging more. But money, you may give him a little too. Him no more, hold me back a little bit. So, because you know, point goal of finance. I mean, him now, what minimum, yeah. So, I really want us to see him practical for him by doing lo next year, or look at him go, you put him one more, no anything by him happen next year, no. I must him say. Next year is going to be a very challenging time. Yeah? Him finish lo next year, you may say 2026 year, buy one or something more. Make sure Prime Minister, you not go invite him any big event for come. Buy no insulin more for you, for doing work. Forum, one leaders, no more than enough now. One another sustainable development. To follow no more next year, then finish now. 2026, you leave him stop now for constituency now. One constituency here now. Constituency assembly. The one you live in for 2026. Next year, no more every meeting here, you take them come. Then stop. Because by internal law, next year, towards law, 74, doing this one. Unless you go and find him, anyone for help him in Duala, Minusai will not help him in Duala. Every donors will equal to talk over there, I would say, we are not interested with this one. I'm now outside to tell him, so Minusai will not. Anyway, it will try to look around and then find him now, what you mean. These are my only comments, say, and I only hope that next year we will be able to make him something good for this one. But report below bills and legislation here, please take note of it. Photo below chairman yang barawa time yang mantu ye, and then. I think you mival every chairman, mival speaker, mival garam every photo time mival young man, so you know how to make emotion. So make him report him look nice go, emotion. But I mean a little bit support him. What now? Chairman him put him lo here. Lo child point, but chairman him already spoken on it, and then the leader. So what I know a little bit was him calling me back a little bit. Say, but I will hear from others as they debate on this issue. Two things, no, me like tell him, you give him now 80 different languages here, their seats and prescribed by this parliament. Don't give them the number and then someone go pick him over. You me lo schedule blow this bill here, you write him go there now. What a language here now? Emotion, Marobo, Roviana, Kolo, everyone here now, emotion. You must put him there. Emotion. Because they're the one that make him up this country. Emotion. And they must agree that we go down that path. You mean in chatlo here. Emotion. 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 And then out him now block to follow. Him no need no more. Him block to follow. Emotion. Out him. It is this parliament that have to prescribe him now. Una has to be in this constituent assembly. It has to be equivalent to the constitution we interest to run this time. Emotion. And then on the timing no more, of course he must have give him go, but financial resources bring me next year. They want no more me to Dubai, but I will listen out what others say. With those remarks, I resume my seat. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable MP for Central Honiara.